Don't forget to suck some titties.
You know, the beautiful thing about sports, one thing about watching sports as you get older, and just the way it kind of makes you feel young again. And it's very motivating. I remember when I was younger and during the summers when I would be fat as fuck sometimes, the summers, dude, I would do like crazy. I mean, I would be outside playing basketball like all day, like sweating I would lose 30, 40 pounds in the summer by not even trying, not doing anything but going outside, playing for 6, 7 hours, breaking garages, and denting gutters, and somehow some things never change. When you break your parents' shit, when you get older, you just break your own shit. But in all seriousness, sports motivates when I'm watching, like tonight, recording this by the way on June 11, 2025 for the archives. The game 3 tonight of the Pacers and Thunder. And the things that make me excited about it, one, it's real basketball. One thing I like about when I watch a game, I don't like it when it's just so one-sided in terms of it being all offense or all defense. I like a balance where it feels like it's a mutual challenge. I like where it's like really good defense, but good shot making. Like, make it tough. Like, I don't like watching 140 to 136. I don't like when a bunch of open three-point. I like running around, someone setting a screen, getting an open three by actually setting an offense. And what's weird enough, a little NBA analysis here that no one asked for. I actually felt the Pacers, at least for the first, half of the game, I like the way they ran their offense better than when they actually won game 1. They got lucky as fucking game 1. But the way they ran, just their ball movement, and people are shitting on Tyrese for waiting too long to get himself into the game. And look, I do think he needs to be a little bit more at least driving to the basket. But I know what he's doing. He's getting a feel. He's getting other people involved, and their offense still runs well. I just like the way their actually offense moved better. They got lucky as fucking game 1. And then when the odds came out for game 2, I'm like, look, man, I know the Pacers are underdogs here, but a 19 to 20% chance of winning the game. And then you watch the game and you're like, oh yeah, that home field advantage is a real fucking thing. And goddamn, if Miles Turner can just fucking rebound the goddamn ball, I'm not actually mad at him. But when I used to do prize picks, I always bet the under rebounds on him. It would always be 7.5. Always do the under. It was one of the few times I won something doing that. But couple things I've noticed. Miles Turner is very specific. He struggles. I don't know if he's nervous, but he just struggles handling the ball. He struggles grabbing rebounds. As simple as that sounds, he struggles to attack the ball and just secure it. That's why anytime he has the ball, they're coming from the side, poking it out. Pause. 2, I will say this, and I was critical of Shea and his foul baiting tactics. To be honest, it's kind of overblown. He really doesn't get that many calls, and maybe it's because there's so much focus on it. And I'm actually, it even makes him more impressive, regardless of how you feel about, I don't love, but a lot of NBA players do, where they're leaning into fouls. It's unnatural, and they get the call. But he's actually not really been getting a whole lot of calls, and he's showing that I don't need to go to the free throw line to still dominate this game. You can say what you want. What really separates the star player to a really good player is when you have a lead and the other team's fighting to get back in, and you just go up the court and you just get your own shot. And it's just when he shoots a mid-range at that free throw, it's literally as automatic as it gets. It's really impressive. It's weird. Maybe it was just me. I felt like anytime Kevin Garnett would get a 17-foot baseline or free throw jumper, 80% of the time it was just going in. I don't know. It was just something about watching. It felt like every time he shot that shot during his prime, the shit was going in. And when I watched Shea, his free throw mid-range, like I haven't watched him too much during the season, so this is literally most people's introduction to like him and a full scope in the team. It really is impressive. It's hard to deny it. I do not understand the opening lineup to have Isaiah Hartenstein come off the bench. Their biggest advantage is literally when him and Chet are out there. Like, they dominate the glass. When Casey Wallace is a good player, but that lineup to start the game, I get what they're trying to do, but I think that's actually been an advantage for the Pacers. And I've heard people say that, but even as watching the game, I'm like, they're doing it again in game 2. I understand the extra shooter and all that good stuff, an extra ball handler, but I feel like having Hartenstein out there, I feel like that's just their best option. Yeah, simple as it sounds. When he's out there, the ball just moves better. They rebound better. They dominate the glass. It's just infinitely better. And it just goes to show the Knicks need him back. Yeah. Welcome to episode 342, I think, of the Off and Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, and the notification bell, most support, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Recording this. I think I already said June 11th. Sorry, a little distracted here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, bro. Yeah, June 11th, 2025. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to hold on to it. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. It's all good in the hood. So yeah. What's going on out there, you know? But no, there's a beautiful thing about going back to watching sports. It would motivate me. Like when you're just watching, you watch these supreme athletes doing great things. Even if you know that ain't happening for me. But that motivation to just aspire, to attack, to keep going even when things are bad. There's a lot of beauty about it. Now, I've thought about starting to get into basketball, like playing basketball. I don't think I've picked up a basketball. And I thought I would never say this when I was younger. I'm like, I'm always going to at least regularly play it. It's fun. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you active. And basketball shape is a whole different animal than just running on a fucking treadmill. You damn skip. All right. So when I think about playing, it's playing pickup. It is really this beautiful. Mine's all over the place right now. When I'm playing pickup, the shape it gets you in is insane. And I haven't played in quite a while. And I've thought about getting back into it recently, and it's almost like this fear. Like, as you get older, man, your body feels different. Like, my left ankle and Achilles, it's not tearing or anything, but, like, I started to feel it a little bit. Like, man, I'm carrying a lot of weight around. And if I were to play basketball, I probably would tear my Achilles in, like, 3.5 days, you know. But basketball is one of the things, it's so fun that even through the soreness and everything, it's just so fun. The issue is there's not really many places to play anymore. Like, you either got to pay for a crazy gym membership, and then it's all crowded. You got to go to a public park where it's outdoors, and then there could be a million people there, and it's just, to find like an indoor basketball court, it's not easy. I'm not complaining here. I'm just saying it's not easy. It's one of those things where playing ball, man, I remember it being the funnest times of my life, because no matter what was going on in school, never going to go play college or even high school basketball, but just playing, it really kind of puts you in this cycle of discipline, getting better at it. You just enjoy it. I never trained or anything like that for it, but I just enjoyed it. And when you watch pros play, it reminds you just that simplicity of how simple life is when you just play. Big play, big things, eh? So I was just, there's just something enjoyable about that. But I don't know, as you get older, it's like, I don't really want to play pickup and be exposed. I don't want to get crossed over. I was watching WNBA, and I got to tell you, you got to be a trooper. And I'm not saying this to shade the WNBA. But there's some tough stretches. I'll admit, there are some stretches where, like, this is good quality basketball. Then there is some where it is like, oh my God, they can't even pass the ball, And the ball is just different. When they brick, bro, like, it just sounds like, and it's so deflating when you just watch. And it's, oh God, another one. So I just be watching, and I'm kind of amazed at how different we have become accustomed to distraction. Because I gotta tell you, some of these ladies, not bad looking, Now, most of them are bad looking with each other, or fucking the Sun CEO. Which, it's funny, this Sophia Cunningham, and it is a rumor, but supposedly she was romantically involved with the Sun CEO. And there are people like, oh, that's no one's business or anything like that. It's like, well, actually, they're affiliates of the NBA. So it kind of is a conflict of interest. I'm not saying she's not good or anything like that, but if you're going to say it's not a conflict of interest, it's like, yeah, she didn't sleep with the Indiana Fever CEO, but the Suns is still a part of the NBA, the WNBA. So there's still decision making from the top and down. No pun intended. So I'm not saying there should be a full-blown investigation. I'm not losing sleep over it. All I'm saying is to sit here and say there's not anything there, I think that would be kind of crazy. So yeah, we're getting the fuck out of this. This is bullshit, man. See, you know what? I take chances and just like, God damn it. This is why I don't record episodes as this shit's happening. Just losing money left and fucking right, bro. Shit's frustrating as fuck, man. No matter what you fucking do in this bitch. Like, what the fuck, actually? So, yeah, basketball. It's a beautiful sport, Yo, like, what the actual fuck is happening, bro? Like, seriously, what the actual fuck? Oh my god. Man, fuck this. God damn it. Hey, like, what the fuck, man? Fuck! I can't even fucking record an episode without some fucking bullshit happening, bro. Like, it's such fucking bullshit, man. God, the stress is unfucking real. But yeah, basketball. It's a beautiful game, you know? You know, we all just sit around and we want to have fun, feel young again. Dude, if I were to go out and play pickup, bro, I would get absolutely destroyed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying I was A1 level tier or nothing like that, but I'm also going to tell you, the boy could spin. And now I'm a spin boy, eh? So yeah. That's how the cookie crumbles. You gotta be careful out here. Yeah. But you know, I can't even focus now. This is, you know what, this is why I should never do a podcast when I have positions open. Like, bro, it's like, the fuck? And then the fucking air conditioner wants to fucking come on, bro. Like, it's all bullshit. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, probably cut a lot of that out. Because, you know, I don't want you guys saying I'm an absolute tool, but yeah, you know, good times. So, what's going on in the hood? You know, let this be a lesson, right? To just focus on one thing at a time, man. I try to follow people and follow positions and follow advice and shit like that, and then I get absolutely just like, I should have trusted my instincts, man. Like, every time I trust my instincts, it backfires, and then when I try to be open to learning, then that backfires, man. It's like this endless cycle of just like, what the actual fuck, Clint? I just can't catch a break, man. I'm not gonna say you're a bitch to complain, but I can't catch a fucking break. Like, and I'm gonna keep fucking looking. Because I'm an absolute dumb fuck. That's why. Because that's why I'm going to keep looking. Because I'm an absolute dumb fuck. Like, seriously. Bruh. I'm really trying not to lose my fucking shit right now, man. Like, I just knew it's gonna be some bullshit today. Oh, God. But yeah. So, what do you call an angel looking for their wings? Wingstop. Yep. That's what we call it. Wingstop. The wings don't stop, eh? The bitch crop top, eh? Booty pop, eh? So yeah, Good times. Oh god, dude, I can't even focus right now. And you know what? This is just one of those situations where I was so, and then this is why you shouldn't look at your phone when you're doing shit, man. The phones are really ruining our lives. Like, it really is. Like, I'm looking at shit. I'm trying to be responsible. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something separate. I'm going to let it breathe. And then I do the thing. And then it fucking just... You can't help yourself because it's money. And then you look at it and you're like, yep, of course. You know, it's like, whatever I do, it's going to fucking do it. So, you know what? Whatever, man. It's just... You try not to get too mad about it. It's frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you. It's beyond frustrating. No matter how responsible you try to be about this shit, man, like, it's goddamn near impossible out here. So, yeah. I'm not stressed at all. I'm just sitting here trying to be a good, small soldier. And I think what I just proved right there is we are very easily weak-minded. The second things don't go our way, we throw childish fits. We go out there and we make everyone feel bad for ourselves and all this shit. And there's no one that should feel bad for me. I put myself in this predicament. And so, yeah. And that's what happens when you're never happy with enough. You try to be different. You try to rise above things. And then you just keep getting fucked, man. Like, you just keep getting fucked. And that's reality. You just keep getting fucked. It's a endless cycle, man. I started this podcast. I was such in a good mood. And now I can't even think straight. I really can't even think of what to talk about next because I'm so insolved with myself. I'm so like, what is wrong with you? Like, why did you think you could just fucking do some shit and let things play out? Because, of course, if you let things play out, shit's going to fucking go awry. I use this podcast to distract myself from things that aren't going well, and now it's part of the problem. And I'm out of all my positions, and I'm still just pissed off because I'm thinking, bro, like, you can't even walk away and enjoy life these days, man. Like, you walk away to just do something, bro, you will get absolutely wrecked. Like, everything is coming with a price right now. Everything, man. But I am thinking about going long here. See, man, like, this is my problem. I'm sitting here watching. I don't even know what's going on out there in the news, but it's really affecting my focus. And that's our problem. We are so insurely focused about shit that we can't think outside of ourselves. We can't even think straight. I can't think. I'm trying to do this podcast. I'm trying to do this. And really, I'm not doing shit. I'm fucking up. I'm being an absolute narcissist. I'm fucking up my life. I'm fucking it all up. And now I'm going out, bro. Like, Jesus, fuck, man. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? But yeah, good times. I'm sitting here losing my shit. And for some reason, I'm going to post this shit and just be like, oh, you know, it's all right. People will understand, Clint. It's okay. Life will be fine. It'll be all okay. Yeah. it'll be all good. You know, life will be fine. And God, I'm such a degenerate, bro. Yeah, good times. I realize I fucked this podcast up, man. And that's what's eating me. I started this podcast. No one asked to watch. No one made me start this episode up. And here I am. I just can't even fucking focus. I am so caught up in myself right now. It's pretty insane. But yeah, back to action. So anyways. What do you call? Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of these self-love people, There's a lot of, they describe self-love as this, you have to create boundaries that have no entry. Meaning nothing phases you and all that stuff. As a person who absolutely hates themselves, as you guys just saw on displayed, I have so much self-hatred, you guys don't realize I just cut like 7 minutes out because I was so sidetracked. And if I stop recording, it messes up some stuff, so I let it play so I can just cut it out. But neither here nor there. I am when you have so much self-quote-unquote love for yourself, sometimes, as the kids say, you forget the plot. And I hate that term. All this stuff, I hate when there's these commentary channels that they have such conviction about people losing the plot. Well, a plot is really subjective to what an individual describes as the plot. And yeah, there's some people that are pretty absurd out there. But some people go out with their chest out and really have strong convictions about things and put titles, everyone has lost the plot. It's like, well, not everyone has the same agenda for your quote-unquote plot. Plots change all the time. Plots are very subjective. Plots come and go. Plots are due to change. Plots can be rewritten. Now, I don't really have a strong take on what they're talking about. But when I listen to what they say, I'm really like, well, that's your view of why people do what they do. Not everyone has strong opinions opposing things for the same reasons. Like, for example, people don't hate jorts because when they see it, it doesn't gross them out. It's just when they see it, it makes them feel like you're not representing yourself, right? That's what they'll tell you. But really, what I would say, the reason why I don't like people that wear jorts is because it's kind of tacky, It's just sometimes like, okay, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not start a whole war about it. Yeah. I've always been a big khaki guy, khaki tacky. But Jackie, I saw Lone Survivor, by the way. I gotta say, man, that movie's pretty damn intense. And I do wonder, how does the casting for that go? Not for the soldiers, but for if you're playing the enemy. I wonder, you have to get actors, but imagine, you're Afghani or Iranian or whatever, Pakistani, and you're like, oh, I want to be in films and stuff, and they're like, oh, we always got a part when we do these war films, don't worry. They're like, oh, so I just represent everything Americans hate. Yes. But, ironically, You get what are they called? Not commissions, residuals. Like, oh, thanks. And every time people see me, I'm associated with shooting Ben Foster in the fucking face. So that's gotta be odd. Like, imagine you get into an industry and they're like, we got a part for you. You're gonna be the absolute enemy in everyone's eyes everywhere you go. And you're like, sounds great. And they're like, yes, it's beyond great. It's meat. But yeah, that's what I think. That's gotta be like, imagine you get into film and you learn all these skill sets of how to portray people, how to prepare, how to study your lines, and how to be dramatic, how to be serious, how to be taken serious, and stuff like that. And what roles to choose, and like, yeah, well, for you, we got one role, and it can be in every film if you want to, Like, let me guess. Be shooting American soldiers. Yes, indeed. But it does kind of, as I'm watching the film, I wonder, like, for people that are very patriotic about their country, and it is unfortunate, people go around, and there are people, and imagine if you are a soldier, you have PTSD, you went through that, dealing with months and years of that is your life, of everyone that looks like that hates you, and you are by design an opposing force to have to sometimes kill people. Sometimes innocent people that are in the way of getting to your target. And it's weird how we normalize, we go to these countries and we do all these things. This isn't a pro or anti-war thing, but I think we are so normalized that it's okay if we do with other countries. But imagine if we just had an army come to like Austin, Texas, a pretty big city. Or come to, Colorado, Denver, and just take over, and they're just running through with military equipment, going up and down, and have tanks all around. They're carrying guns around. They're just ready to shoot you in your everyday life. You make one wrong move. I think we would view it a little bit different. That's all. I'm not saying we shouldn't go do what we do or not. I just think if it happened to us, it would be this whole, like, we'd be up in arms about everything. And we wouldn't be looking like, oh, well, they're trying to defend their country and stuff like that. We would be looking like, whatever happens type of thing. But imagine you're a soldier and regardless of what you may feel, your attachment is, this is years of your life. And everyone that looks like this is associated with they're trying to kill you. And you come back to America and you see people of the same culture, people of the same religions, everything. And most are good people that have no intentions of doing harm or anything like that, because part of the beauty of Lone Survivor is there was a village that actually was trying to protect him and keep him safe and died for him. So in that instance, he probably doesn't, because he sees there's good and bad in every race, religion, culture, because it's individualized. And the only difference between that tribe and the other tribe that hated them, the Taliban, was just they probably were trained at a younger age, forced to be a soldier, and they didn't have the right mentors or advisors. That's literally the only difference in most cases. What you grow up in, you will probably be a product of that environment. If they grew up in the other village with a different upbringing, they probably would never touch a gun. Probably would never have a hateful thought. But what's unfortunate is as you're watching, you see But as I was watching it, all I could think about was, man, like if I went through that and I had an experience with a group of people that wanted to kill me, like I'm a little bit more lenient to when you hear war veterans or when you hear people who've experienced certain things with different religions and groups. And it's like, I don't necessarily think everyone is bad in that or whatever, but I can understand how someone experiences that. And they come back and the freedom of their country that they fought for, to defend from, the people who came from there are benefiting from it, And this isn't pro or anti anything, but I'm just saying I could see from the point of view. Like how, and someone said it best. I forgot who it was. They said the thing that a lot of veterans that they fight for America and stuff, and especially the Iraq War with Bush, a good amount of people feel like it wasn't even worthwhile. A lot of people died for no reason. It wasn't even really a noble cause. At the end of the day, when you look at a lot of deep underlying relationships we have with Iraq and Iran and stuff. And the worst part is they said they felt like they fought more for politicians than they did their country. We're fighting a moral, tactical war more than actually fighting for what we're, quote unquote, being told we're over there for. That is what I took from it. And so I just think with these old folks, they're going to say some wild shit. I'm not rationalizing saying. But if you weren't in Vietnam in the 1940s and 50s, if you weren't in the World War II, which no one alive probably is, they're going to have thoughts about people, because if you went through that same war zone of having thousands of people that look a certain way shoot at you and wanting to kill you because you're doing the same to them, of course you all are going to hate each other. And on a lesser scale, people have one bad experience dating someone of a certain race, a certain height, a certain weight, and they just now like, oh, I can never date someone who even resembles the look of this anymore. And then they want to sit here and fight for, oh, you can't have hatred towards this and that. It's like, these are the same people that, oh, I can never date someone outside of my race. Or, oh, I can never date, an Asian person again because I dated an Asian and their mom hated me. Or, oh, I can never date a white person again, a white guy, because he once said something. It's just the dumb shit. People have these high standards towards people they date, but then they hold people who deal with very stressful, high strenuous situations. And I'm not rationalizing hate or nothing like that, but you just got to understand people have different experiences that shape that. So when you say, oh, I'm never going to date this race again because you have one experience of some person cheating on you or some shit. Like, all right, fine. That's your right and imperative to do that. And then don't tell other people that serve this country and stuff like that, and they have I won't even say a dislike, but they have a strong hesitancy because they're always in hyper defense mode because their experience is fight or flight. So, at least getting this podcast back on track a little bit, talking about war that I've never been a part of. So, Wahlberg likes being in movies with guns, which I ain't mad at, Yeah. I'm just trying to relax, I need to just fucking relax, bro. I realize And I realize I'm a person that I'm so anxious to win that the thought of just losing really is like starting to creep up on me, The thought of losing, it's unbearable, man. It's so fucking unbearable. Can't do it. I think, maybe it's weird because I'm not a hyper competitive person, but I'm such a self-loathing person that unnecessary just losing just eats at me because it's so I don't get mad when someone else beats me. I get mad when I lose to myself. Damn, that's a bar. That's a bar. Raise the bar because I'm about to hyper vault. Yeah. Losing just sucks, man. It's weird. I don't care about losing in stuff that matters. I would care about losing in stuff that at the end of the day doesn't matter fucking all. And think about losing, it just compounds. Because it really is like when you're on like on a historic Chris Davis 0-54 at bat streak with no hits. Like, it's not about that you can't hit. It's because now it's so magnified and it's in the back of your head that you could try to go back to the basics, but if you're going back to the basics, you've already lost because it means you just don't trust your muscle memory, your instincts, because you're thinking so much. You're trying not to strike out. You're trying not to swing at bad pitches. You're trying to correct every little bit part of your batting stance, but you're not focused on just swinging, the dick around. You're focused on not missing. And that's the thing where I think when someone's losing, like when a team, like when a basketball team, remember like the Bobcats in like 2013 or 14 with Kimba and Mike Gilchrist, and they won like 7 games in a shortened season. Like the worst winning percentage in NBA history. Did they have a good team? No. But there's been worse teams, believe it or not, since then that have won more games. Well, I don't know. That Philly team was pretty goddamn bad. But there's been teams that have had better winning record. And it's not because the Bobcats had twice less talent than that team. It's because once you kind of want to accept the fact that you're not going to win, like, you're not. Because you just accept what is. But at the same time, when you're trying so hard to just go hard and win, then you're putting so much effort into something, and then when the result doesn't come, you succumb to just fuck it. And I think that's what really creeps into just my experience in being a loser the past month. It really does creep into you. And it never leaves you. Because now it's like, what am I doing wrong to just keep losing at life in a way? And it compounds everything. You lose on one thing, typically it creeps to another. And I don't think it's a crazy connection. If you notice with stars in sports, when they lose their game on the field and they're struggling with that, losing their prime, losing that extra step, losing just their body not recovering, when they lose that edge and they can't play with full fluidity like a linebacker in football. Like if you're one step behind, bro, that's the difference between you batting a ball down or George Kittle just manhandling you and taking it to the house. Like it really is that slim a margin of a game. For example, the Bengals released a linebacker, their starting linebacker, who was there for 6 years. He led the team with like 140 fucking tackles. I forgot the dude's name. I didn't know he was on the team, to be honest with you. I don't watch a whole lot of Bengals game. And the reason why they released him is because, he didn't have the best season. He on like an advanced stat. He had like 21 missed tackles. He made a lot of tackles, but they're focused on the 21 he didn't make. And that's the crazy part. Like, they see there's a step loss. There's something off. And chances are, like, I hope he recovers and does great. But I don't know. Next year, he may be splitting time, not on the field as much. And now when he misses a tackle, it's magnified. Then he can't get in a rhythm. Then he just, like, falls into a cycle where he's never seen as the same. And it could be a confidence issue. And that's what happens in sports. And that's when they lose it on the field. That's when they start getting a lot of off the field incidents. DUI, domestic incidents. Maybe they get divorced. Shit blows up. Earl Thomas. And they do all that. And because they know once they lose, they got to find that fix somewhere else. Like having threesomes with your own brother, which is still fucking wild, bro. It's insane. I mean, do you touch tips? You know, talk about tipping the ball. So yeah, I don't know. You know, it is weird how just like confidence. It really is this quality that you cannot manufacture. You gotta have it when you're struggling. But it's hard to lie. It's hard for someone to lie to themselves. And this is for just like men who struggle with confidence. There's always this pressure because you don't want to be seen if you're out there trying to date and stuff. And even if you're with someone, because when you lose that confidence in yourself, you know, your partner over time, even if they love you, there's going to be a sense of attractiveness lost. Because that's not the person they fell for. That's not the person they love. They may care and try to find it and try to help you through it. But, like, at a certain point, if you don't have the confidence in yourself, how are you going to lead them? How are you going to lead a family? It's about the bigger picture. It's about how you react when things aren't going your way. That really defines you. And so, that's just, you know, part of the process. So, I guess just like young men, even older men who may be struggling with it, it's okay. All you can do is just wake up and keep trying. That's all you can do, bro. That's literally all you can do. Everything else, it's all pipes, Jerry. I realized I just did an Elon salute without even trying to do it. Yep. You got to find that thing within you that really separates you. Because otherwise, you got to keep them separated. Me. Yeah, so I only saw the headline, so I'm going to do typical podcaster shit, not read an article, and just have an opinion on it, you know? So, there's your disclaimer. Apparently, Jared Leto's doing weird shit, which, you know, there's been talks for years about him doing this weird resort stuff, which is always weird that people pay thousands of dollars to go to a singular resort cult thing and then not say it's a cult. I've always, you know, people's fascination with individuals is always weird. Especially someone who possibly did one of the worst Jokers of all time. Some people liked it. I don't know. I didn't dig it. It's like, I'm not mad at it. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But even, you know, Piers didn't like. Yeah, apparently, you know, when you bring snakes and you do weird shit on set, and people try to play it off like, oh, it's staying in character, it's method acting. And people are like, you know what, man? If you're going to method act, you better really fucking kill this shit. And you better at least be decent outside of it. Because, like, Christian Bale, bro, I think he method acts. But people are like, bro, like, he's a great guy. He played fucking Patrick Bateman, and people are like, dude, this dude, really cool ass dude. Jared Leto has a history of, which Jared Leto actually played in American Psycho. It's crazy. I knew him from 30 Seconds of Mars, and I thought he became an actor. I know he was an actor before he was in 30 Seconds of Mars. He just seems like whatever this weird shit with him, where apparently he's doing stuff with very probably young girls and creepy stuff. It's like, bro, if you lead a cult, like, come on, man. Like, everyone, when something looks fucking odd, it is. We stop trying to mask, like, no, this is just artist fan collaboration. It's like the dude's not even playing a concert when he's there. He's literally trying to dress as Jesus. And it's not by accident. Like, it's literally in books what shamans do. It's in books in historical context of what people do. It's not even manipulation, because honestly, y'all gotta take responsibility for falling for this shit. Like, we can't keep having this, oh man, type of thing. We gotta start holding people accountable for having no self-discipline for this shit. Like, am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. Like, I honestly think, like, a lot of y'all should be ashamed of yourself for these allegations coming out. And it's probably the least surprising thing I've heard in quite a while. So, that's just my 2 pennies. And apparently, they're stopping making pennies. In U.S. currency, they're stopping making pennies. So, I'm just like, all right. And this is the type of stuff, it feels like we just like wasting our money. We just like wasting our time thinking that shit matters. Like, cool, they stopped making pennies. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh my Jesus. Like, no one gives a fuck. It doesn't. They stopped making pennies. We'll just pay in nickels and. What all that tells me is there's been so many fucking pennies made, they don't even care. Or what we're really trying to do, if we're really being honest about it, is a slow deterioration to where it's probably actually made, believe it or not, most optimistic reason could be to actually maintain not just printing money, but printing pennies is probably not going to matter that much. I guess it's a start where it's like, hey, all the cash that's in the world now, we just got to make that shit work. All the cash in America, figure it out. We got too much cash and debt to just be printing out more pennies, But $100 bills, if we get another banking crisis, we got you. But pennies, nah. That's where we stop the buck. Which, there's actually, there's the big beautiful bill with Trump thing. I listened to the press conference earlier with Carolina Levitt, and I was kind of, the whole point of the bill is to basically help the middle class cut taxes. And on average, the middle class will take home $10,000 extra a year. So, hey, I ain't mad at that. If your wage is mostly tips, you will on average take home an extra $2,000 a year. And what's funny? There's always these richer people and stuff, upper class, are like, oh no, here's what you don't realize. You're actually getting fucked over because all they're going to do is X, Y, and Z. It's like, you know what? Here's what I'll say. Even if there is that weird back way of it not really mattering, at least there's actually something that's actually trying to take care of people. At least having people not get fucked over as much. The weird part, the upper middle class is even getting fucked over more. There literally doesn't affect them. It's just helping the middle class more. But that always pisses people off. Like the fact that there's a bill, regardless of what you believe, the fact that there's a bill to actually give the American people more of the money that they work for. It's not giving out free money. It's letting you keep the money that you actually work for. And people are mad about that. People will find a way to be mad about anything. This isn't about political. It isn't about classism. It is just, there are things that, two things can be true. You could be anti the ICE thing, what's happening in California and Texas right now. But you can't be anti people keeping more of the money they work for. If you are anti that, it's ironic, they're going to identify as people that are care for the economy, that care about the American people, because they have this bigger, grander vision of, well, business owners actually need more tax cuts and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, they can have all the tax cuts they want. It doesn't really matter if the people that are working for them aren't getting the cuts either to make a meaningful living, to keep on rationalizing working for them. Because not everyone, there's only so much money, not everyone can be rich. Even if everyone did the same job, that job would just become less meaningful, which means less pay. There's more people to pay, so everyone's getting paid less. So, I just don't understand people that would get mad about this shit. Like, at the end of the day, the intention of the bill is to give the American people more money back. More of the money that they work for. It's not free money. It's not unemployment. It's not food stamps. It is literally, hey, this money that you were taxed on, that you worked unnecessary overtime hours for, actually going to keep it. All it's going to probably do, and where it will even now, is these jobs will probably just limit your hours again. And that's the thing. Jobs these days, bro, you're either working 20 hours or 60. There's like no balance in between anymore. Like, it's either you get a part-time job making 12 an hour, working at TJ Maxx, or you're making 25 an hour, working 62 and a half hours on the low end, and getting fucked in overtime. There is no in between these days. That's why you either got the underworked and you get the overworked. There's no balance anymore. That's really where the supply and demand, the chain of command, whatever you want to fucking call it, that's what really has happened, if we're really going to break it down. But that is just my ignorant opinion. So, yeah. Yep. And this is why I don't vote. Because I wouldn't have voted for anyone. And I've talked about this before. People say if you don't vote, you don't have a right to an opinion. And it's like, well, just because you voted doesn't mean you even know what the fuck you voted for. So that doesn't give you a right opinion just because you wasted 2 hours in a line and put in someone's name because you like the cult following that comes behind it. Or worse, you vote for someone because you just hate the other person more. I think that's worse. It's one thing to be in a cult, but just to choose the different thing because you hate the other thing isn't really any better. Because you're voting in despite of something, not for something. So, I think honestly, if you don't vote, you have more of a free-ranging opinion. Because you have no bone to pick. I don't have a bone to pick of whether my investment in my one vote is actually going to help or hurt me. It doesn't matter to me. It is what it is. Like, I have no vested interest in that. It does not matter. So, when y'all want to sit here and tell people if you don't vote, if you didn't vote, I don't want to hear nothing from you. Well, you voted, And people don't want to hear nothing from you either. It's just odd that people feel like just because they have a heavy interest in something, just because they occupy the time with something more than other people, that their opinion has more weight to it, or that their opinion completely just convolutes yours. And that's where this stuff gets a little annoying. These are the same people that think just because people are on TV, on these political channels, when it's obvious what their goal and agenda is every day. And it's so obnoxious to watch. Like, it makes me roll my eyes. And here's always their statement. You know, I don't necessarily agree with everything they say, but it's like, you don't need to watch the channels. All of those channels are for fear mongering, to kind of build a cult following, because the only way they're going to garner a fan base is either if you're for this person, come here, or if you hate this person, come here. Because everyone says they want non-biased news. It's like, the reality is they don't. Scott Pelley of NBC, or ABC, whatever fucking. He's basically saying, yeah, like the lawsuit against us, it wouldn't be good, you know. It would not be, he literally said, it wouldn't be a good image for us. And it's like, yeah, it wouldn't. Not because of, it wouldn't be a good image because of you completely fabricating or not telling the truth about something, and you're planting evidence, you are putting out stories to garner a narrative. It's not because of that. It's because it's so obvious that even legally someone could file a lawsuit against you who is publicly hated, and you lose because it's so obvious. That evidence is so damning. Of course it would be terrible. So, yeah. That's the thing. People are always like, what happened to when you would just get objective news? That never really happened. Objective news on the scale that we think about has never really happened. You would have independent journalists and reporters at places that would challenge the narrative of what their company was attached to. But they would be hired on purpose to essentially, quote unquote, show a balance, even when balance isn't really there. Because guess who's still editing to put the shit out? The network. So, yeah. Put that up your trap hole. Yeah, I'm going to have to edit a lot of shit out of this podcast. Whew, I completely wrecked 18 minutes of this shit. I don't know, I might keep it in for sport. You know, just to show you that, hey, it's okay to lose your shit sometimes. I'm really trying hard not to look. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm gonna look. Because if I lose, I deserve to lose. Worse, it did nothing. Patience. It's a word that all of us lack, and we all think we have it. I realize the thing about patience is it requires maturity. And the thing about maturity, it requires civilization. And the thing about civilization, it requires companionship. And the thing about companionships, it requires social. And the thing about being social is I hate networking. Yeah, I this Jay Morrison guy. Apparently there's a lot of real estate entrepreneurial scam artists. I've heard about this guy before, but we all know these online personalities who are these. They always tell you they're financial gurus and stuff. And I think people need to be very careful that just because someone has money, this doesn't necessarily mean they're good at teaching people about money. It doesn't mean they make their money in a clean way. In a lot of these cases, they make their money based off people's desperation. They make their money off people's lack of knowledge on finances. Anytime you hear a person online who's a real estate flipper type of person, why don't you just ask them, can I see your real estate? It's crazy how we have people who are, I don't understand how you're this money guru and real estate person, and yet you don't even own real estate. And look, I don't own real estate, but you don't see me out here talking to you about financial portfolios, you know? Think about these Jay Morrisons, and even we got to be careful about these influencers that have money. Ashton Hall, the Mr. Put Your Face in Water, and making these good morning routine videos that personally, I've never understood the appeal of it. I mean, I understand the insanity behind it. I understand the meme aspect of it, but for me personally, I think it's a little played out. But that's neither here nor there. These Jay Morrisons of the world who I believe he started, him and his wife, they bought in what state? I don't remember the state. In Georgia. Maybe in Georgia, Atlanta, whatever. They opened up a center. It's supposed to be this entrepreneurial business conference where they get a bunch of people that donate their money and stuff so we can build this big thing, and then 5 years later he sells the thing with those people's money, and somehow he owns all the money now. And it's weird how when people do these Zoom calls that they love doing these Zoom calls and these Zoom conferences, and they just scam the shit out of people, man. It's just a bunch of bloated nonsense to make you feel like you're getting entrepreneurial real estate advice. And this one guy crashed it, meaning he went in there, he wasn't supposed to be in there, and he went and he put it on live. He recorded it himself about his interaction with him because he put a lot of money into this real estate stuff. And Jay Morrison, as you expect, was very deflective and was not really here for it. And you can tell he's very deceptive, trying to not actually answer the question, but keep pushing. Anytime they say this just isn't the platform to do this, it's like, you mean the platform where you're teaching people about stuff, and yet but they don't realize they're about to get scammed out of their money. This isn't the platform. How convenient. And another, he's going to come after you for defamation. One of those. I wish a bitch would. If I'm exposing you, you deserve to be exposed. I think people need to really understand, like, the defamation stuff. It is means absolutely nothing. You can put all the defamation lawsuits on people all you want. It means absolutely nothing. Because it's either you're doing what they're accusing you of doing, or you're not. Putting a bad name on your business or your practice, there's nothing illegal about that if it's earned. But that's the thing, these laws, weirdly, what I've realized about the law is that it's supposed to be designed to protect people from being... It's supposed to be designed to protect innocent people. It's supposed to be designed to hold people accountable who are breaking the law. But really, ironically, what it does is people who scam people and break the law and do all this shit, it actually gives them more of an out by technicalities to get out of stuff because of loopholes. So I don't know. It's just odd to me. But yeah. Doing this show commando. I don't know if you've ever just observed a cat before, and you just watch them lick themselves and self-adulate, and we call it cleaning themselves. I will say it's pretty amazing how cats, dogs, they can never shower, and they never smell bad. It's kind of I don't know if it's genetic. I don't know if it's inherited within their species. And as I'm saying that, she gives me the dirtiest fucking look. Like, what are you talking about, Willis? But it's fascinating to me. Now, we have species that never have to wash themselves, clean themselves. They don't use soap or nothing. And they smell better than half of us. Maybe it's because if we would have gone our whole lives without washing ourselves, maybe our body would naturally repel to it and we would smell good. Like if someone did not shower or bathe with any meaningful cleaning, even just like natural ingredients that aren't foul formaldehyde type of soaps and stuff. Honestly, a part of me thinks that over time, your body would adjust to it, and maybe because our smells, our sensory glands, the smelling stuff, would be so numb to things that nothing would smell bad, so we would just become adapted to it. But maybe we would actually not smell as bad as quickly. I think maybe the illusion of a lot of these bathing products is because since we do it from a young age, our body, it seeps in these unnatural chemicals, and then if we don't bathe for a while, we sweat, and then we, smell bad, and then we need it again and again and again. It's like having a caffeine addiction. It's like having a drinking or a smoking addiction. It's once you introduce your body to it, it's your body always needs it, or is going to react harshly. You're going to have withdrawals. You're going to have headaches. You're going to have a lot of anxiety. But speaking of anxiety, Doechi, this was a while back. I think this was during the Met Gala. She had her team. Like when they're walking out in their dress. Apparently, this Met Gala thing is so important. You cannot have people see your dress before the actual event. Which is kind of like whatever. And she was walking out, I guess, like near the carpet, but it was before the pre-show or whatever. And she had people corral her with like a shower curtain so no one could see her. And she was like losing her shit, like yelling at them. And I don't know. For me personally, people were calling her a diva and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a great look. I feel like it's not really something that great to be. You don't want that as your image. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and shame the woman. We've all got issues. And you also got to be careful because of the racial element, too. Call a spade a heart. But it's not a good look. And maybe it's, there's a beauty to it. Someone embracing their divaness. someone embracing that, like, look, I may be new to the scene, but I'm not going to pretend to be humble and all that shit. I just, these Met Gala things, I don't know how we can live in a world where a lot of people in Hollywood and stuff, and even spectators, I understand celebrity culture used to be a thing where it was like a fun thing. Like celebrities personalized, they were a fun thing. You would go to Publix, there's a People magazine, you find out that there's all these rumors of, hey, Brad Pitt's getting very close to Angelina Jolie on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And he's like, nah, that's not happening at all. And then everyone found out it was happening. And apparently his adopted kids don't like him, which is pretty wild. Going out of your way to adopt 2 kids, I believe from Thailand or, from third world country. And he has no relationship. Like the sons don't like him. They say he's not a great father, hasn't been there. He kind of just doesn't, it's not in their lives. And I'm not going to defend the guy, Depends how the movie F1 is. But at the same time, like, it's hard to really be a part of your life if the mom doesn't really want you a part of the life. You can't really live together. I don't know. It's kind of I don't like talking about, people's personal lives like that. Like, that's a little too deep, talk about the kids and stuff. But if they watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you will see, damn, how did that sensuality fizzle out? And if you're Jennifer Aniston, you just got to chalk it up to the game and be like, it's undeniable. I guess after all, they were just friends. Get it? But yeah. But Angelina Jolie, she's like one of those. She's very low key, kind of hot, even now. But she was definitely like one of those wild. She definitely lived the wild life, before having kids. She's a definition of someone how kids will change you from afar. I'm just judging from afar, and this is a compliment. Seemed like once like she had children and adopted children, like her whole everything was about being a good mom and all that stuff. So yeah, I give credit where credit's due. She basically gave up, acting. She gave up to be a good mother. And not saying you can't be a good mother and be an actress, but it's not easy, I guess. But it's weird how, like, they met where he was kind of like the cool, hot guy in Hollywood, had his own thing going. She was, like, pretty well known, kind of had a weird relationship with BBT, Billy Bob Thornton, obviously, because everyone abbreviates Billy Bob Thornton. And so that's a weird thing. I think she kissed her own brother. And, nothing wrong with that. Just saw that one coming, Brad. But yeah. And now he's the one that's accused of being the wild one. Apparently having substance issues and all this stuff. It's like, I mean, good for him. You only live once. Yeah. But no, celebrity culture, it's definitely changed over time. Like going back to the Met Gala, the thing that I really don't get a good grip about. With all the Diddy stuff, and that definitely seemed like a stuff that was themed. The thing that's weird about the Met Gala is the secrecy. You have to pay to get in. It's the absurdity of dressing. It's the absurdity. Like, it doesn't actually really do anything for your career. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think anyone's career has ever jumped off the Met Gala. Like, people have done things at the Met Gala and it gets attention, but I don't think it's ever parlayed them into, you know, getting in the next Kill Bill Volume 3. It's this weird, the Met Gala to me from afar, it seems supposed to be like a representation of the peak absurdity of what us common people will be into. And what absurdity we are to attention and giving attention to people that want an absurd amount of attention. Not saying there's not normal people there, because you could be famous and relatively normal. You go there, you dress nice, you take your pictures. Like, people that go there and they're dressed like peacocks, you know, I don't know. Ain't for me. Kanye's now wife, I think when they went there a year or two ago, you could basically see everything. It was see-through. I mean, you're with Ye, I guess nothing's off limits at that point, you know. But these events, and then there's always that Instagram picture they all, like, a group of like 20 people take in front of a window or in front of a mirror. And when you look at that, you just kind of look at them and you're like, what the actual fuck do I give a shit about this for? Yeah. But it's crazy out here, man. It's weird how stuff like that you don't even actively keep up with, but you find out about it in the weirdest ways. It's pretty odd, though. I will say this. So this whole Simone Biles, Riley Gaines situation, where, you know, look, Riley's outspoken against transgender athletes in sports and all that stuff, right? You know, it's weird. The thing about the transgender stuff when it comes from the athletic, it's weird because it's actually, people are going to get mad about this, but it's really actually to preserve women's sports. Like, you're literally letting men take your records. And then throughout history, there's not going to be an historical woman figure. There's not going to be Sportswoman of the Year, and it's actually going to be accolades from an actual woman. But the thing about, it's kind of weird how Simone is saying Riley looks like a man, when Simone has some traps on her. God damn, she is jacked. Now, she's still a woman, and she looks amazing. But, like, from a muscular features, like, Simone is jacked. And I think she's natural. She's just really, you know, she's really short. So, like, you could pack on size. But, like, it's weird of all things. Like, she's the one with the muscular body. She's the one jacked to the tits. I'm not, you know, talking about her tits. That would be disrespectful. But that woman is bussing. Jamone! I just found that interesting, you know. I'm not really into the whole, you know, conservative talk radio stuff all the time. Because it definitely feels like, I think the thing about politics, and when you get into conservative stuff, it's just like your whole life is just obsessed with your political ideology. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about politics. But look, when you talk about Outkick coverage, when you talk about Fox News, or you talk about CNN and stuff like that, like, people's obsession with their political ideologies, like it's your life. For some people, I get it. You know, there's certain things, like, you should care about stuff. But at the same time, I don't give a shit about women swimming. Most people don't. Like, you know what? If a women's lacrosse player wants to go around and they want to get, cross-checked by 6'4" Shimu, let them have it. Hey. And it's funny how everyone that's talking about people in sports are people that aren't even active sports members. That's what it feels like, other than Simone. But always ask them, would you want to compete against a man who's identifying as a woman? Like, just say, hey, look, in gymnastics, Simone, you want to go against, the 50th best men in the world in men's gymnastics and then go against them? If they're okay with it, then let them be okay with it. That's all I say. If you're okay with it, but you got to be careful not speaking for a grand mass of people, as I'm speaking for a grand mass of people that I'm not a part of. But yeah. It's odd. I think I've been actually having pretty good amount of success betting on baseball. And I do not, and I've only recently cared about watching baseball because of my incentive now. It's weird. My preparation, I've had 2 straight winning days. Now I'm doing small, I'm building it up slowly. So it's a bunch of $10 to $20 bets, winning 8 to 10, $12, whatever. And when I'm betting, I'm winning like 4 to 6. And all I do is the day starts, I see what times of the game, I see the series. And the thing is, I think the beautiful part about baseball, the things that makes it a little bit more of an advantage is, one, all it takes is the odds are always, ironically, even if it's an underdog, it's kind of in your favor, because if you pick a team that has 40% chance of winning and they get 3 runs by the second inning, now their odds are 70 to 80%. You could cash out, and it's like automatic money. And then what happens is the team always comes back. Like, the other team always comes back. And my reignition for this prediction stuff for baseball, what you realize now, just speaking from a baseball standpoint, there's a real issue of closing out games. Growing up watching baseball, there were dominant closes, meaning if you were down to the nothing in the 9th inning, the game was over. Mariano Rivera, you weren't coming back. Craig Kimbrell, you weren't coming back. Even mid-tier closers, Jason Isrielzi, there's a name you haven't heard in a while. Aroldis Chapman. We got Billy Wagner. I'm going OG here. What, Tigers? I'm trying to think. Was it Fernando Rodney? Was a pretty good damn closer. And that's the thing. Jonathan Papelbon. We got this dude, like, no one can close a goddamn game. Like, I monitored it. Not even games that I was actually putting bets on. I was monitoring, I think it was 2 nights ago. The Rockies, goddamn, they are so fucking bad. They were actually up by like 3 runs in the 9th inning. They already had 1 out, no one on base. And their dude just could not throw a fucking strike. And you're like, oh my God. The Rockies aren't bad because they actually aren't that bad of an offense. But their pitching is so fucking bad. And across the league, there's a real reliever closer issue. We got a lot of great elite starters. But then once it gets to the 6th, 7th inning, and you bring someone from the bullpen, dude, it's a 50-50 game in almost every fucking game. If it's at least within 2 to 3 runs, there's a 50-50 chance Baseball is a real, like, closing the game. It creates excitement. But, and that's the thing, all I do is I look at, all right, how big is the pitching disadvantage? Okay, if it's relatively even, I'm going to look at the lineups. I'm going to look at, okay, how good of control? Like, yeah, you look at the ERA, wins and loss, but really, I look at K's to walk ratio. So even though I don't know the pitcher, it tells me if they have good ball control. And if it's a high K to low walk ratio, okay, for both pitchers, let me look at the lineup. Home and away, kind of, I'll take into consideration. I look at the lineups, and whichever one has better players than the other. Like, sometimes it really is that simple. We complicate sports. We want to make it like, oh, it's this team, we time our stolen bases. It's like, yeah, look, when you, I know you won last night, Padres, but if Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts are coming up in the next inning and you're only up by 1 run, I'm taking my chances with the Dodgers. Like, I'm sorry. Some of this stuff's not really that complicated. But yeah. I told myself I wasn't going to look. But I'm going to look. It's relatively the same. Like, what the hell is going on? Holy shit. Alright, see, I told myself I wouldn't do this. But anyways, yeah. Good times. But yeah. So. I love, rainy days. Like, I'm literally talking about rainy days here. The thing I love about rainy days is they kind of put a damper on expectations. I think I've talked about before. Rainy days really do reset yourself. Like, even though nowadays in Georgia, the past 2 weeks, if there's any type of rain and one thunderstruck, like, the power's out for 2 hours. I don't know what type of underground, grid it be hitting, but when it hits, bro, it hits. And they're pretty immediate about it too. Like, the second the power goes out, like, literally within 45 seconds, you're getting a text message be like, hey, we realize the power is out. And then they'll give you an estimate time. And they're actually always pretty early about it. But I will say, it happened last, I think, Saturday or Sunday. The power went out, right? And I'm here, and I'm sitting. The power goes out, and I'm sitting here. And it was weird. I could not use any of my devices. My Wi-Fi was out. So after a little while, I had no service on my phone. And it was kind of odd. Because it was the first time in a while, like, you realize how reliant we are on technology, how reliant we are to be entertained. And it was kind of a sad moment because I realized, like, damn, like, I legitimately was, like, sitting here and I was pacing, my feet tapping. And I realized, God, like, there's really nothing to do without technology. Is that really true? No, there's always something to do. But when we become so accustomed that our whole daily life, like, everything we deem to be productive is on devices and shit, it really is kind of, hey, what do you do in a day? And you're like, that's a great point. What do I do in a day? It's kind of that reminder of, damn, life's kind of sad if you're reliant on this stuff all the time. Because the happiest times in my life, and I think a lot of people were just when life was simple. Yeah. There's times obviously we need a phone these days. You can't really survive in society without a phone. Yeah. But there are times where I realized how much more focused I was without a phone. I realized sometimes I wish I never got this advanced laptop I got a few months ago. Because everything worked so easy, where my old Chrome, it was so shitty. And at a certain point, it was so limited. I'm like, well, it can't really do much. I'm going to go do something. For this, man, I could do fucking goddamn anything on earth on this fucking laptop. And for me, it sounds great. It's good for work. It's good for production. It's good for speed and all that good stuff. But you're also like, damn, everything's too good. And that's the thing we got to be careful is with the advancement of technology, even AI and stuff, when everything is better than you, we got a problem. All of our devices, our phones, our laptops, our dishwashers, everything is done for us. It does the hard work for us. And it makes it where we don't really know how to do shit unless we go out of our way. It's not survival to have to do shit anymore. We become lazy bums who are not self-sufficient. Our idea of self-sufficiency is literally how much money we make. Our idea of self-sufficiency is literally how many hours we work. That's our idea of when we deem someone to be a productive member of society. We literally just say, oh, they work really hard and all this stuff. And yeah, you don't want bums sitting around not doing shit, but you also can't really put all the eggs in one basket of what someone is based off, whatever. And somehow the power going out really exposes us humans. Because I'm literally thinking about it. I'm like, I can hear the people upstairs when the power's out. They're not yelling, but they're definitely moving around uncomfortable. Kids are crying. There's probably people outside worried after 45 minutes because they can't charge their phones. They can't do this, and people freak out. That's really where the urgency of getting the power back on. I mean, obviously, fridges, having food and stuff like that. But if you really think about it, the thing people are worried about, oh, I can't charge my phone. Oh, I can't go on my Wi-Fi. I can't do this. And it used to be probably in the early 2000s when the power would go out, it would be this cool bonding experience. When families, when the power would be out, it would force people to come together to play board games or whatever. And now it's the power's out. It's a nuisance. Now it's we're forced to do stuff together. And it sounds shitty, but I think that's how a lot of people, how it is right now. It's unfortunate. Because our standards is so low. Our acceptance is so goddamn low. But, whatever. Now this cat's freaking out. Oh, you so cute, Nala. Oops, I'm not supposed to say your name. Gotta keep it under wraps. Boom! To the high side. Sorry, that's a Joey Options thing. But yeah, no, the power being out. It really just... But yeah, no, it's crazy how Mother Nature, ironically, reminds everyone to just fucking get back to being normal. Like, it takes the power to go out for everyone to go into panic. It would probably be a good thing. Like, honestly think, like, if the power went out in all of America, let's just say, for like 2 days, I honestly think, like, after like 12 hours, maybe 18 hours, bro, people would be on the streets purging people. The desperation for people to get on their phones, like, find any type of form of electricity, anything, bro. Like, it would, people be fiending, people be robbing stores. It would literally be like California right now. Just people storming the streets, no pun intended, and just not, and losing their sanity. I genuinely think if we had no power technology for like 2 days, I honestly think people would go insane. And that's not an exaggeration. I literally think people would go insane. Imagine, because just imagine, like, some people's screen times are 10 hours plus in a day. Because even if you're not sitting on your phone scrolling all day, people, the amount of times that we just check our phones for the time, check our phones for messages, to scroll and look up something, to just pass the time by, to set an alarm. Even the people that think they don't use their phone that often are always heavily surprised when they found out, man, you use your phone 20 hours this week. And that's a low end for some people. It kind of reminded me, and not that anything has changed in that week, but it reminded me, like, I probably need to do a detox. And I think a lot of people would benefit from a detox. But it would be very, honestly, don't know how to approach it. Like, do I hide my phone? Do I just put my phone somewhere, turn it off? And people's excuses are, well, what if someone needs to call me? It's like, well, tell them beforehand. You know? Or you just leave your phone somewhere, like, where do you... It's like, it's almost like you have to purposely put these things away to rediscover natural things we enjoy doing. Like going for a walk with a partner, or going to the park and playing basketball. Like, in my mind, like, it's stuck in my head, like, I really just want to go to a gym and just shoot hoops. But then we get in our heads like, oh, I'm not in the same shape I used to be. What if I suck, this and that? What if someone wants to play pickup and I say no, and I'm a pussy because I want to get crossed over? You know, that type of thing. And it's like, bruh, just go fucking play. Stream East all day to watch baseball games so you can make $9 so you're monitoring the scores. It's got to be better than that life. So, yeah. But I don't know. I guess our standards are just so... Because just think about how natural things are, right? You realize when people are like in the best shape is just when... It's not when they're at an air-conditioned gym for 3 hours a day. It's when their life just is based around just being active. Meaning playing with their kids. Going... You know... Some people, if they live close, they'll walk to work, even if they have transportation, just for the extra steps in a day. Like, it's very, like, the thing in this society that I think makes it tough for a lot of people to stay in shape is that you have to really live a unnatural life based in society's terms. And people look at you like you're crazy for waking up early, going to the gym for 2 hours, and then working out again in the afternoon. When, if you think about how things used to be when we didn't have all these access to technologies, like, people would just, like, when you were kids, you were just outside and you just played and you never thought about. And you never thought about, am I getting my steps in? You never thought about, oh man, am I moving my body to maximize my glutes? Like, nah, you just fucking played for 5 hours until you were tired as hell. We didn't think about all these extra things. And I think the more we think about health, the more stressful and anxious you are. And it makes you more hesitant to stay on track for people that are struggling to do it. Sometimes the more you know, and nowadays, like, bro, you can't eat anything without someone telling you bananas aren't good for you. Everything is bad for you, or everything secretly may be good for you. And people are overthinking everything. Like, we have to, like, I think one of the dumbest things, and anything better, I'm not shaming people that do this, but it's just such an unnatural part of life. Like, to go out of your way to go to, it's crazy. People drive 20 minutes to a gym to literally walk on a treadmill for 35 to 40 minutes, where a treadmill does a lot of assisting for you. And by the way, I'm not shaming people that do it, but for most people, you probably could have walked around the neighborhood, got sunlight, you could have got quality oxygen. You could have got way more benefits of walking around your neighborhood than driving 20 minutes to a gym to walk on a treadmill. And even running on a treadmill. And step climbers is a different animal. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's like the new form of health and fitness. When the healthiest I ever was when I actually did shit. When I, played sports and stuff like that. Now it's like, bro, like, we're doing these weird Bulgarian squats and all this stuff, and it's all great. They all do make muscles bigger and stuff, but I was never nearly as active or fluid as when I played sports or when I just went outside and actually ran outside. But I don't know, And that's the thing nowadays is like everything is air conditioned. Everything is so clean. Everything is so... I'm going to go on a rant about something here. I've thought about it a long time. Now, this comes from someone who literally hasn't been to the gym in like 3 weeks to a month. But when you go to these gyms, man, like these young guys, these young whippersnappers, all these dudes that are like, bench pressing 150. And like, you got that newfound muscle. You feel good about yourself. They all carry around the same unnecessary big gym bag. And then all they do, walk around with their half-ass shoulders and their chest sticking out. They go to a bench and they walk around like there's some shit. They drop their gym bag right next to it. And then they walk around like peacock. You want this? You want it? Cool. And then they try to act like the coolest fucking guy in the room. And then they're sitting there. They do 2.5 lazy ass fucking sets. But they're carrying around like the Ronnie fucking Coleman. Like they're training for Mr. Olympia with this bag. Like they got some creatine, BCAAs. Like they got some chicken and rice in there ready to snack in between each sets to maximize protein synthesis. But no, you know what? They just swing their bag on there. And they're like, whoa, look at me. I'm a big boy now. And they all look the same. They're these spiky haired little white fucks. I don't know why that part was necessary. They always talk like they just learned how to riz a girl. And like they try to go up and talk to a girl. Which, hey, I'm not shaming you for talking to a girl. Get your nasty nose off my cord. And then they do a set and they're like, hey, you using this? And she's like, and then the girls, they always act uninterested. They're like, no. And they're like, hey, what's your name? And then she's like, my name's Claudia, whatever. And they try to talk, and then they get slightly rejected, and then they're like, this damn bitch. They're all the same, you know? They watch a few Johnny Skywalker videos, a few X's, and all of a sudden, you know, they're gym bros without the muscles, you know? They always carry this unnecessary bag with nothing of substance in it. And they're out there for like 40 minutes and they just do a couple sets on the bench. They do some bullshit chest flies with no weight on it. No growth ever happens on this guy, by the way, over a 3-month span. But they carry shit around because they want to be the part. They do everything but actually push their bodies. That's what these guys do. Typically, my rule of thumb, the more shit someone carries around at the gym, the less results. Like, it's typically 90%. It's like a rule of thumb. Like, it is almost guaranteed results. It is as guaranteed of a stereotype assumption as you can get in this world. Is a young man carrying a big bag at the gym equals no results. But yeah. Oh, Jesus. Good times. Looking for a squeeze here. Oh, yeah. Beep, beep. Yeah. So. Apparently there's a lot of people shitting on The Weeknd and his acting. And I always feel like people are very harsh on people and acting and stuff. I always feel like it's a little unnecessary, you know, the shaming and stuff. But then I watch a clip and I'm like, oh my God. I can't feel my face when I'm watching this because goddamn, I am in shock. Like, I hope you don't do this often. Because, boy, he did it half-ass. But what, you know what? I don't blame him. He's obviously a great artist and all that good stuff. But, and I'm not going to... I look at it more like, hey, this makes this shit interesting. Because I'm going to be very honest. Like, you watch a lot of these shows on these streaming services. Like, be honest. If The Weeknd wasn't bad in this show, I think it's The Idol. Or in this new movie. Like, he was bad in the show The Idol, apparently. But in this movie that's out, and the clips are going around where he's looking at, I think Jenny Ortega's her name, and people were joking, like, the look on her face is how shockingly bad she's watching this guy. But, near there. But as I'm watching him, I'm like, you know what? People can shit on this all they want. But the way I look at it is no one would be talking about this movie or the show except for how obviously uncomfortable it is to watch. Because the show, The Idol, people said sucked. The show sucked. So there would be no one doing clips around of the show except for the fact that maybe The Weeknd was on set, being optimistic. He's like, wow, this is some dog shit. He's like, I'm going to freaking Al Pacino take this to a 10 unnecessary where it's going to be completely hit or miss. And yeah, it's a miss. But who the fuck cares about The Idol? Who cares about this movie that's out? Nobody. I don't even know the fucking name of the movie. But I know The Weeknd's in it. And hey, if you're going to be, the last thing you want to be in a movie is just there. You want to stand out one way or the other. Like, no one ever looks back at a movie 15 years ago and was like, yeah, you know, this person was terrible, and like this person was, oh my God, I've never seen them this bad before. This person is the greatest thing. No one was like, about a third, like if you're like a third lead in the movie. Like if you don't stand out, then people forget that you're in the fucking movie. No one will ever forget The Weeknd was in that movie, for better or worse. And let's be honest, for fame, it's not about how good you are all the time. It's about, do they remember you? Think about the word. People remember The Room. Consider they made a movie about how bad the movie was. The Disaster Artist. Tommy made this terrible movie called The Room. But if it wasn't that bad, if it was just a movie, there would not be a long living legacy of the movie. There would not be a movie that's a satire making fun of that movie within a movie. So we can say what we want. People are going to remember this show and movie 5 or 10 years from now because it's going to be a meme for history, which for the internet era is actually a good thing. Because you know what's probably going to happen, as we do with any type of cult classic movies, for better or worse? Because let's remember, there are movies that we call cult classics now that were box office failures, or that were considered bad for a long time, and then for whatever reason, it created a cult following. People rewatch it, and because people are like, hey, this actually is not that bad, then people start convincing themselves, like, oh, this was actually, we missed the boat on it. This was just the wrong time it came out. People don't realize. People talk about Fight Club like it's this, when it came out, it was like Avatar in the box office. It's actually considered a box office failure. There was a lot of negativity towards it because it promoted violence, misogynist, and all this stuff. It's a bad thing to promote to young men. But because of the era we're in now, where things have turned and people wish men were more like that, questioning society and all this shit. Now it's like all these men of younger generation. Now it's like hitting them, and it has a second wave of popularity, as a second wave of relevancy. So just because something, and honestly, Fight Club, I saw it once like a few years ago, and I'm not going to say like, I'll be honest, like, I think a lot of people make it like it's this revolutionary movie. Like, I thought it's an entertaining movie. I see the message it's trying to do, and it's like, okay, but the best stuff is really just the entertainment part, the fighting and kind of the psychological thriller mixed with action it kind of brings into you. It's a movie that makes you think, but it's not like a movie that, is going to question everything you think about society type of thing. But it's a good movie. Is it like this cult classic that's like a top 10 movie of all time like some people try to make it? No. But it's it's a definition of like a good back in the day DVD movie. It's a good movie to watch on stream type of thing. It's a perfect movie for that. There's no stakes in it. I mean, I guess stakes is whatever you want to make of it. But, and it's got great acting, great director, all that good stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah. This week, The Weeknd's going to be the next Fight Club. He's the next Edward Norton. That's what you should take away from that. Run for the hills. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm sure there's gonna be. I'm sure there has. I think there has been a movie recently, but because I heard it, someone talk about it in the show one time. I'm waiting for the movie where it's we make these movies about people's, whether it's a biopic or a fictional movie about someone becoming famous throughout the thing and the process of that. I'm waiting for the movie that's about like someone, a big podcaster movie, where it's like going from this to that and kind of like the drama aspect of it. Almost like the movie Funny People with Adam Sandler. I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but it's kind of like, it's a dramatic movie. It's ironically a drama about stand-up comedians type of thing. And it's kind of like you see the perspective from a seasoned veteran who's already rich, which is Adam Sandler, and you see kind of like the loneliness aspect and like what comes with fame, how much he doesn't really love it. Then you see the up-and-comer, Seth Rogen, someone who wants that. And Adam's like convinced him, you don't really want this and all that stuff. And it's kind of like the contrast of what being young and hungry looks like and someone who's got it and they're still unhappy type of thing. It would be really cool to see the podcast version of that. I don't know why. Maybe because but I think podcasts, it has shifted culture. I think there's a pullback right now. I do think there's kind of a pullback, like in the stock market, of podcasts. Because we hit like an all-time crazy rave for like 2 or 3 years. And I think sometime last year, there was a little bit of people are a little bit kind of weeding out shit. And I think it's like a recession for podcasting. It's like the big dogs are still going to eat. And then like the people in the middle, it's really proving how much they love and don't. And those bottom of the barrel fish, we're still going to do it, you know? And I think in terms of, but from an audience and a consumer standpoint, I do think there's a lot of people just don't have the time of day to listen to a bunch of different podcasts. They don't. So no one's listening to a full podcast anymore. That's why you got to do clips. Some people put timestamps so people can skip around what they want. But it's a real issue of people don't really just want to listen to people talk all the time. So I think in the next year or two, though, it's going to be booming again. I do think it will be booming again. I really do. And there's just these waves of things. It's really like everyone gets tired out of things. It's really like sports. Like, not every year is basketball. You know, not every year do the ratings get higher and higher. There's waves based off star players, based off teams that are performing, based off markets, based off just the interest in the league. Is there a big news story? Is there big trades? Is it LeBron's final year, you know? Is there a wave where there's not really a face of the league? Like, there's these waves of, like, there's different years of more interest than others. It's just a natural wave of a pullback, a little bit of a recession for podcasts. But they're still profitable. They're still making money. They're still entertaining the people. But it's just the appetite for it. It's a little bit, people are kind of like here and there with it. People are more focused and have more of a preference of what they listen to. So, yeah. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah. I want to end it there. I don't know if I'm going to merge this episode. Yeah, I'll probably merge it. But, yeah. Have a great day, morning, night, evening. Meep, meep. Don't forget to suck some titties. Stop looking at me like that, Nala.